What is up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick,
I'm Jeff Grindstoffer.
and welcome to episode number 6 of Vinyl Bang, where today we are talking about the years 2016 to 2020. The ERAS episode. Which episode of the ERAS is this, Jeff?
This is episode 4. This is the final episode of the 2000s. We're finally wrapping this up. It's been a good little sequence. It's been a good.
It is. I remember the other night you were
down memory lane.
Oh, for sure. And I think the other night I realized that, like, man, there was a lot that came out in 2004 that we didn't get to talk about. And, you know, this past week, Lamb of God and Mastodon announced that they're doing a tour together to celebrate Leviathan and Ashes of the Wake. And those were two huge albums that came out in 2004. And on top of that, plenty of other stuff that neither of us mentioned. Terrifier, which that was a big fucking deal when that record came out, I remember. So, you know, maybe we'll do a 2004 episode because that was a very important year in the last 20 years of metal, I thought. And but yeah, we're moving on to these last 4 years of that first 20, so or last 5 maybe. Yeah, do you want to start off this one?
Yeah. Start this off. All right. So I don't think I've mentioned as much of this band throughout the duration of the Vinyl Bang series so far. So I'm going to rectify that. Start off with Misery Index, Rituals of Power.
Oh yeah,
what an album!
God yeah,
this was whenever this came out, it was like, I don't want to say the best thing they've done, but damn, there were some heavy hitters on this thing. Like, damn it. I can't even think of the name. New Salem.
Yes.
Man, that's a ripper. I mean, absolute fucking ripper. This album is solid from beginning to end. Definitely one of Index's finer moments for sure. The artwork's incredible. The musicianship. One thing that I noticed whenever I was doing research about how many different pressings and producers and all this and that, our good friend Adam Jarvis, or AJ as I like to refer to him, has a lot of writing credits. He's like one of the main writers for this album, and almost every album Adam's name is listed under every track. And it's like, I had no idea that he was such a main writer for the Index tunes, and that's fucking rad.
That is.
You know? Adam is, of course, a beast. I mean, an absolute phenomenal drummer. I've watched him. I've filmed him for Sick Drummer. I can't begin to count how many times, in the 30s or 40s, and every time it's just like, just jaw-dropping performance every time. And Adam is the best guy, just such a great guy. But yeah, to see him credited for contributing to the writing, it's just like, holy shit, that makes sense, you know. But aside from putting AJ on the pedestal, this album was recorded by 2 different people. Ryan Mullins, who is a friend of mine he's a local friend in the area. He lives probably an hour away from me. And Eric Rutan. Rutan, I believe, took care of the
drums.
Rutan did the drums, and Ryan did the guitars, and Mark is also a local resident of where I live, and him and Ryan go way back. They've been friends for a long time, but yeah, this was a phenomenal album. Rituals of Power.
Yeah, dude, I love Misery Index so much. I remember that one coming out and feeling the same way. I was like, damn, man, like, all these years later, they still fucking got it, and definitely some bangers on that record.
Yeah, they have yet to do a bad album ever. It's like Complete Control. Fuck, it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're obviously one of my favorites. I think I've seen them more than any other band live. So, I got nothing but love for that band.
Absolutely.
All right, so my first one, it's not going to be a metal album, but one I'm pretty stoked on. For anybody who knows who Action Bronson is, this is Only for Dolphins. This came out in 2020. on Loma Vista. This is a lenticular cover. I don't know if you can kind of see it or not how it moves. Let me pull it out of the sleeve here so you can maybe see it a little better. But
oh, okay, yeah,
like this is his artwork too. He painted it. This one.
Oh, right on.
1,000 of these were pressed. It came with a patch and a poster, but there was 12 different pressings of this, including a picture disc and I think there's like an Obi strip. But yeah, this guy, a buddy of mine my buddy Brandon got me into this guy. He's kind of like my go-to hip hop person because he's never steered me in the wrong direction of anything. And we went and seen this guy live together a few times, and he's just incredible. He's very funny. He's a big wrestling fan, so that really caught my attention because he had a lot of like wrestling references and songs about wrestling and on his early stuff. But he even shouts out Ovechkin in one song in his earlier stuff. But
nice.
Yeah, he on Viceland he had that show "Fuck This Is Delicious," and it started off as a YouTube show actually. But this was a fun album. There's a lot of cool tracks on this one. Some wrestling references on this album for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He just announced he'll be here in April, so I want to go see him because he's performing with a live band. So it's pretty rad. I always appreciate seeing stuff like that. So,
sure.
Yeah, that's my first one there.
Yeah, you've always talked very highly of Action Bronson, but I've never taken the initiative to listen to him, and I probably should.
I'll send you a small playlist of stuff. I mean, like not everything is great. I know like a lot of people complain about his rapping, but I enjoy it. It's kind of silly, but he's great. His live shows are fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So
even some silly rap is good as long as it's not. I don't know. Nothing will come close to the 90s. Some rap comes close to the stuff that we grew up with in the 90s, but not much.
He's very sample heavy, which I think not too many people are these days. But and then he also has people perform music on his stuff, which is why he's doing this tour with a live band. He did it last summer. And he actually canceled twice when he was supposed to come through here, but he's coming back, and it's coming closer than I had to drive before. I didn't want to go to Baltimore just to see it, but yeah, every time I've seen him, I used to go with my buddy Brandon to see him, and Brandon's seen him out in California, and he said it was better out there. So, but yeah,
right on. Very cool. All right, my next contribution for the some of my favorite albums in the last part of the 2006-2020 is a local band from St. Louis called Hell Night. Hell Night consists of Brian Fair of Shadows Fall. Brian is the vocalist for Hell Night, along with 3 other local musicians that have been in the scene for years and years and years. These guys are very, very, very talented musicians. This album is straight. It's heavy. It's hardcore. It's got groove. It's got everything you can want from a metal album. And Brian's vocals are not like if you see this and if you think, oh, I like Shadows Fall, I'll listen to Hell Night. It's not the same thing. Brian's vocals even sound different. Like, I mean, after getting into this for so long and then going back and listening to Shadows Fall again is like, this doesn't sound like the Brian the Brian I'm used to from Hell Night, and I grew up with Shadows Fall, I mean, I've seen them numerous times throughout the years, and I am a huge fan of Hell Night. These guys are awesome. I've filmed them a couple of times. Yeah, very, very highly recommended. St. Louis locals. The album itself was actually pressed by a record store, Nick. It was pressed by Planet Score Records that I took last year. One of my absolute favorite record stores in St. Louis. And as far as I know, this is the only album that they have had pressed, and I don't know why. I don't know what prompted them to do an album for Hell Night, but good for them for doing it, because this vinyl sounds incredible. But they did 2 pressings. The original pressing was there was 300 of a red pressing, which is the standard easier to find. And that's, does it look pink?
Yeah. Damn it. Maybe that's your lighting is so great in there, though. Your beard looks red.
It fucking better look red. But they did a pressing of 300 on red, and then they did a purple cover.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The exact same layout.
That's awesome.
But a purple cover, and the background picture is different, so that kind of gives it another little different aspect to it. But once again, pressed by Planet Head Records. God, I hate them. Planet Head Records in St. Louis. And the vinyl for this is also purple, which I'm sure is going to look like yellow. Nope, it looks purple.
Great.
Look at that.
It does look purple.
Yeah, very, very, very purple. But again, aside from these guys being friends and whatever, they are a phenomenal fucking band. Check out Hell Night from St. Louis. Absolutely.
Yeah. Two quick stories. So Jeff brings up Planet Score. When I went to go visit him back in November, right off the plane from the airport, we stopped at Planet Score. They like just opened up, and I believe Jeff, you scored some pretty awesome records in there, and so did I. They mailed them back for me. That was a very cool record store, very nice people. I took a sticker from them and threw it on my refrigerator, actually, because I like to do that for record stores that I visit, and that was a very cool one that you've been hyping up to me for a while. So shout out to Planet Score in St. Louis, Missouri. If you go out there, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool stuff in that place. I was pretty impressed with how big their metal section was and their new used records that were in there. And the other story, Brian Fair from Shadows Fall also sang for a band called Overcast, I believe is what they're called. I hope I'm not butchering that. People, please don't yell at me for that. But they were from the New England area. It was like a hardcore band before Shadows Fall, I think. And I think it was, oh man, I don't even want to say the wrong thing. Maybe Members of Blood Has Been Shed or someone, or Kill Switch. Maybe I could be terribly wrong there, but
no idea.
I know he was in a band called Overcast, I believe, and yeah, Brian is awesome. He's a great vocalist. I got a great photo with him. The last night I met Dimebag Darrell, actually, because Damage Plan was on tour with Shadows Fall when the unfortunate happened to Dimebag. But yeah, shout out to Brian. He was an awesome vocalist, always very nice every time I ran into him at shows as well.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, my next one. I'm surprised this is the first time I'm actually talking about this band, because Jeff does a lot of talking about them. It will be Cattle Decapitation's Death Atlas. This album, I guess, pressed 15 times, not including the test press on Metal Blade Records and a couple from Nessie. But you can see mine is the Radiation one.
Yeah, that fucking pressing, that EMP.
Yeah,
it's so hard to get. It's so hard to get their records because they don't ship to the United States.
You got to have a family member in Europe like I do.
That Radiation vinyl, that was the hardest one for me to track down.
A buddy of mine in Canada, he got number 1 of 200, which he actually sold recently. Which,
oh my god,
if I had the time, I would have probably grabbed that off of him or the funds. But yeah, this album, man. I saw them in the day this came out. It was Black Friday of 2019. I saw them down in Richmond, Virginia, and they were on tour with Atheist, Author and Punisher, and Full of Hell. And unfortunately, the night before, Full of Hell got their van stolen in I think Atlanta. But I mean, the story behind this album is continuing of the story that they had going on with their previous albums. A few months after this came out, COVID had happened. The world had basically stopped, and a lot of people were freaking out because they had songs like Bring Back the Plague and what else is on here? Hold on. The Geocide. I mean, like all this, it came with that Death Atlas map if you pre-ordered that mega bundle. But I remember just being like, wow, like these Nostradamus dudes like predicting all this crap, and people were freaking out about it a little. And I was like, it's a coincidence, guys. Like they didn't see this coming, obviously, but
right.
This was a really cool record. I just, the way the things were going in the world at the time, this album it was such a weird coincidence. And I remember even there was a hip hop artist who tried stealing this artwork and saying that it was his new album coming out, and Cattle made some funny T-shirts about it with his Instagram post. And
World on my shoulders.
Yeah,
that fucking guy.
I mean, there was just so many stories I have with that record. They didn't get to tour it as much as I wanted them to because obviously the world stopped after it came out. But the Bring Back the Plague video is funny as hell because it just went along with what we were dealing with at the time.
Yeah,
if some people were to take it seriously or not, but I love that band. You know, like we're trying to get somebody from that band to be on this show with us soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can make that happen. But yeah, it's just Cattle's a great band. They mean a lot to me and Jeff, and collecting their records is. I don't think I'm as any league as you or the other two fellas who are in that chat with us and Travis, but yeah, it's just I love what they do. They've got some great stuff that they always put out whenever their pre-order packagings are always awesome. And this is one of my favorite ones. This might be my second favorite record that I have of theirs, but yeah, great band to fucking collect if you like collecting vinyl. Cattle Decapitation does not disappoint with
you will have your money's worth if you collect Cattle records because they press like 12 copies of every album. My wife's glaring at me from the other room because I have almost every pressing of every album. Like you can almost see like on the second shelf, the orange, the light colored orange, those are all terrasites. Like I'm not even pointing at right there. Those are like the 12 copies of Terrasite, and then
I can see it. No, I absolutely can see it because mine stick out like a sore thumb too.
Yeah,
plus my Death Atlases, but like, yeah, no, I feel you, man. I mean, like,
yeah. Cattle. They are some vinyl producing guys. And I love them. I love all the Cattle Decapitation guys. A couple of things. We're going to go on a whole tangent about Death Atlas. First off, whenever you said your buddy had number one of whichever pressing, this is the only album, but I have number two.
Hold on.
I have number 2 of 200.
Carbonized. Okay, cool.
Carbonized vinyl, and it's not opened. It's sealed, just like the majority of them. Majority of my Cattle Decapitation records, I've got one or two open.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
But this one, I mean, that's a prized possession. I mean, that's number 2.
I've given you my tip on how to peel these things off, but like we'll discuss that in another episode. But yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, in case something happens and you got to sell some records, I understand that you can probably make some.
Well, it's not even that; it's just the fact of opening them all for whatever reason. So anyway, getting back to their video for Bring Back the Plague. In that video, Bell, the guitar player, is wearing a Grindstopher production shirt. That's my boy. He whenever the video premiered, I texted him and I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, thank you for wearing the shirt." He said, "I did that for you. I wore the Grindstopher production shirt in the video for you." And Travis has worn several Grindstopher shirts throughout the years. Like he wore one in the live footage for Prophets of Loss, and what else? He wore another Grindstopher shirt in another Cattle Decapitation video. But those guys, yeah, I love them. I love the support that they've given me, and they've always been super cool to me throughout the years. They always get me on the guest list and always hang out with them and go out to eat with the band or whatever. And I love Cattle Decapitation. As far as them being, what'd you call them, Nostradamus motherfuckers?
Yeah,
like predicting the plague. February of 2020, this next band that I'm going to do a vinyl for played 2 shows in Los Angeles. They played 2 shows in Los Angeles. The first night, Cattle Decapitation and Neil Hamburger opened up for this band. And the second night, Melvins and a band called Cunts, which is one of the Dead Cross members' other projects, they opened the 2 nights for Mr. Bungle in Los Angeles. I flew to Los Angeles for both nights. And a week later, I don't know, this was in February. In March of 2020, that's when everything shut down. So my last trip that I took My last big trip to go see a show was to see Cattle Decapitation open for this next band I'm going to do vinyl for. But it's just ironic, that one of the last bands I got to see before the world shut down was Cattle Decapitation with their Bring Back the Plague song. It was kind of what word am I looking for? Poetic. Yes. It was a poetic moment in the Cattle Decapitation lineage. So anyway, getting past all of that, all the Cattle Decapitation stuff, my next band that I'm going to do an album for is The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny by Mr.Bungle. I'm not doing this correctly either.
I can see it.
This album is their demo that they did way before they ever released the self-titled album, before they did Disco Volante, before they did California. This is the old high school death metal, grind death metal version of Mr. Bungle. And of course, they had Dave Lombardo on drums and Scotty Ian on guitar with the original trio members of the band, Mike Patton, Trace Bruins, and Trevor Dunn. And what an album. What an album. I got to see them perform this 2 nights in Los Angeles, I was just talking about. This album is so good. It is nothing like everything that they've put out before. I mean, like Disco Volante had its moments where it was kind of death metal, but there was a lot of mixed emotions about this project, about this version of Mr. Bungle, because it wasn't silly. It wasn't the carousel-esque stuff from the first album, or like the Pink Cigarette version of from California.
Mm-hmm.
But I love this album. I love this album so much. They did 10 different pressings, not including the test press, which I own all 10 pressings, not the test press. But yeah, this was a good way to spend the pandemic, since I wasn't going anywhere besides going to work. I got to reminisce about flying to Los Angeles a month before the world shut down to see them perform this album in its entirety. So.
Nice. No, yeah, that's some good stuff, especially with Lombardo and Scotty in there. That makes it extra special.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Cool, man. All right. Well, my next one is band that's a little local. Not really. They're from Ocean City, Maryland, which is kind of like a vacation resort here in Maryland for some people, but not really, I guess. This is a band called Full of Hell, called Trumpeting Ecstasy. This came out in 2017 on Profound Lore Records. Pressed 9 times, not including the test press. This was a screen printed one that they sold. The singer sold directly. Let me see. It's I can pull it out here, but it's number 51 of 100.
Nice.
They only did like with the screen printed. It was a mix of like the standard black vinyl or the relic vinyl, which I think there was 100 of those pressed. And I actually own one of the relic ones. This is what the cover looks like. That was like the screen printed one was something else, but let me see if we can get this. Oh, and there's like a random set list. I don't know what this is from. It might have been Maryland Death Fest or I don't know what, but
well, that's rad. The random set list, that's awesome.
I pulled it out. I think I got it from somewhere and just threw it in this vinyl.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember which show I snagged it from though, but like when I have like, I threw that, I do that with some record with set lists. I'll just throw them in a record so that one day when I get past and somebody gets my collection, they're like, what the fuck? Cool. There's a set list in here too. Anyways.
That's a good idea. I've just got some of my set lists just like sitting around.
I got a lot. I mean, that Portal one you gave me, I threw that in one of my records too. The very first Agoraphobic Nosebleed official set, I threw in my Altered States 10-inch. So, nice. Anyways, moving on. We got Full of Hell, fucking awesome band. Great dudes. If I talk to all of them whenever I see them live. Dave Bland is probably one of the craziest fucking drummers I've ever seen in my life. If anybody's ever witnessed this guy play drums, he's unexplainable. He's ridiculous. He's great, but he's really fucking awesome. Dylan the singer, a great dude too. Probably one of the coolest vocalists I've ever seen in years. Just they were signed to a label from Baltimore originally, A389, and then they moved on to Profound Lore and then Relapse, and I think now they're just putting out their own stuff, which is awesome. That's actually amazing that a band can fucking pull that off in this day and age. But
right.
This album was really cool. I remember it coming out and I just being like, man, it was different from everything else that they'd put out. I mean, like, not to say that they changed their sound, but the first album was a little hardcore-ish, but this album, I don't know, say grindcore, death metal, whatever you want to call it, but this album is just so fucking great. This is my favorite one that they ever put out personally. But yeah, this was a band that I really enjoy seeing live. The first band I saw live after the pandemic, since we're talking about it, but just a great band all around. This album Absolutely. In general, my favorite one, 2017, Profound Lore. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's a great fucking record.
Absolutely. And once again, to echo the shout out to Dave Bland, that fucking guy is a phenomenal drummer. Every time I've watched him throughout the years, I've done a couple live streams for him, and the nicest guy.
It's
really is just a great guy.
How to describe how fucking awesome of a drummer that guy is, but it's like an octopus, man. You think he's got like 8 arms. It's insane how good.
Heavy. I mean, he just fucking pounds the fucking drums, dude. He's a killer, absolute killer drummer.
Yeah. Shout out to all those guys, Sam and oh fuck, I can't think of the guitarist's name.
I can't think of his name either. We're gonna be canceled after this.
Oh, for sure.
Did we shout out Dylan? Did we get Dylan at least?
Yeah, I said something about Dylan.
Yeah, Full of Hell, absolute fucking rad band for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So my next contribution is a band that is a grindcore staple. Fuck the Facts, the latest full-length album from them, released in 2020. This is the 10th full-length. Nick, you sweat, Nick. Get off camera. What are you doing? This is the 10th full-length from Fuck the Facts. I'm going to try to pronounce this, and I know I'm going to mispronounce it. Plain Norseer. I know it's wrong. I know for a fact that I'm pronouncing this thing correctly. But anyway, the musicians on this album, it was only Topin and Vil and Melanie. Just the 3 of them. There was not a full band. It's the first time that there wasn't a bassist and an extra guitar player. It was just the 3 of them, and that is so admirable that those 3 people were able to make such a huge sounding grind record. It is so good. The artwork is done by Melanie. The mixing and mastering was done by Topin, and it was pressed twice, self-released. It was all self-released. There was no record label, no major distribution. It's all done by the band. They had Clear with Black Smoke pressing, which was to 300, and then a white pressing, which was 285.
They always did weird pressings like that.
Yeah. There was
but good for them, because they were very DIY about what it is that they did, and I always respected that. But
right,
I fucking love Fuck the Facts.
I forget which album it was, but there was one pressing where it was like the black pressing was the hardest one to get.
I think it was
they did like 20 of them or something.
No, damn, I don't remember which one that was, but I do remember that happening.
Hammer? I want to say Hammer. The Hammer EP. I don't remember.
Maybe. Oh, I think you're right. Yeah,
I think it is. Another a little side story about this. this was released in November of 2020, and for people that know, that follow me online, follow me on Facebook, over the years, I've talked a lot about Buddy, my dog. Buddy was my best friend for 13 years. He left in January of 2021. Buddy went to sleep, and one of the songs that kind of helped me cope through it was Everything I Love Is Ending from this album. And that song really just hit me at the right point of my life. And that song's hard to listen to today, but that kind of helped me deal with the loss of Buddy. So this album means a lot to me just because of the time that it came out, the impact it had on me, and just this is a beautiful record. Absolutely beautiful record.
Fuck yeah. Great people in that
another
band.
side note, the very first time my daughter Sierra ever saw a grindcore band, I drove her to Columbia to watch Fuck the Facts play in front of like 20 people. It was her very first grindcore show, and she was asking me on the way home, she's like, how am I supposed to tell people who I went to see? You know, she's like, she can't say fuck the facts.
But yeah, I've seen them that was a thing a few times too, but yeah. I love that band. They're all
absolutely
Vil, Topin, Mel. They're all just sweet people. Mark, ex-guitarist, also Johnny. All the people I've known that were in that band over the years, they're just great people. But real quick side note, the guitarist from Full of Hell was Spencer, who I was thinking of. So shout out Spencer. So yep. Sorry, I forgot your name there, pal. That's what I was looking up there in a minute on that video. I thought I muted my mic, but I accidentally put the wrong camera on. But anyways, moving on here, and shout out to Buddy the dog. That dog was awesome. He's in the background of all of Jeff's vinyl pictures. So,
well, he's right there.
There he goes.
That's Buddy right there. His urn. He's with me every day. He's right there.
Hell yeah, bud.
That's my boy. I miss him.
All righty, moving on here. I've got a band from I think the Pacific Northwest. I don't think they're from Portland. I'm not sure. But in 2016, they put out their first album. This band is called Uada or Uada. I don't know how people pronounce this, but they are an American black metal band. I first saw them at Maryland Death Fest. They're just fucking incredible. This is, I think, is the silver vinyl. Yeah. Silver pressing. First album is called Devoid the Light on Eisenwald. 250 on silver. It's been pressed 4 times. They put out quite a few albums over the years. I've had everything that they put out. Usually when it gets put out on pre-order, I hop on it pretty quickly. But this is a cool band. They have kind of like a reoccurring thing with the moon in all their album covers. So if you could look through their stuff, you'll see how the evolution of their artwork. But this is a great band. I'm not that big of a black metal fan. Takes a lot to kind of impress me, anyways, this band is great. I've seen them live. Every time I've seen them live, they usually are the best band on the bill. And last time I saw them, I guess, was Death Fest, the last Maryland Death Fest. But I think they stole the show that weekend too. They were amazing. I was fortunate to run into a couple of them in the parking lot while Demolish was playing. But yeah, this is their first one. It's not my favorite one of theirs, but this was definitely a great album that came out in between 2016 and 2020. Yeah, I'm big fan of that band. They don't know what to say. If you go see them live, they're much better live than they are on album. That's all I could say. Like, it's the live show is something else.
And that name is thrown around a lot whenever black metal is mentioned, especially more recently with the more recent wave of black metal bands. I've never been a black metal guy. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very few bands that I'm into
I feel you.
Or black metal.
It's a hard genre to get into.
It is. And I don't know if it's just because of the stereotypical, the black metal bands record on a 4-track in a cave, and it just sounds bad or whatever it is. It's never been my thing to listen to black metal. There are some bands that have a black metal influence, like the Lion's Daughter from St. Louis have a black metal-ish aspect to them, but they're not straight, black metal.
Cephalic Carnage. They do it.
Cephalic Carnage, black metal Sabbath. Yeah, they have their aspects to it.
Got a couple songs on their later albums that, yeah,
for sure. Yeah. All right. Moving on. My next contribution is the final album with Frank Mullen on vocals. This is Suffocation of the Dark Light. This album is phenomenal. I mean, it is absolutely one of my favorite Suffocation albums. And I don't think it's just because of the fact that it was Frank's last album with the band. It's solid, beginning to end. It is such a good record. This one is actually the total playtime from beginning to end is 35 minutes and 17 seconds, which is the shortest Suffocation album out of all of them. It is the 8th full length, and it is the shortest length full length album from the band. They played Kansas City whenever they were doing the Farewell to Frank tour, and I got the autograph signed by everybody in the band. Eric Marotti and Charlie and Hobbs, and yeah, I know you can't see all of them, but it is autographed by everybody in the band. This is the first album to feature Eric Marotti, which Eric's my boy. Eric's always taken good care of me over the years. Shout out to Eric Marotti.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to Eric for sure.
Great guy.
I don't know him very well. I've met him a few times, but god damn, what a drummer.
Oh, God, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It makes it look effortless.
Yeah. No, man, that guy's incredible.
He is absolutely a great guy. He's always been really cool to me, cool to hang out with and talk to, and the whole band is. I mean, fucking dude, Hobbs is one of the greatest guys. It's so approachable. He's so personable. He's just so nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And
then my buddy Chris from Abominage have been tight since like the early '90s when both those bands were starting out. Chris is, if you look up pictures of Suffocation from the first Day of Death festival, you'll see Terrence is wearing a Abominage shirt at that fest. So
right on.
Yeah, I mean, like all those dudes, Derek, over the years, Guy, everybody I've met, Kevin Talley was in that band for a short period. Frank was always awesome. I used to love talking football with him because he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. But they, and one of my favorite things about Frank Mullen was his stage banter. If you ever were fortunate enough to see him, look up videos of them on YouTube. That guy is one of the funniest human beings. One of my friends once compared him to that guy. What was the neighbor on Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Carl. My friend said he talks like him, and I can never unhear it. But yeah, Frank Mullen is just a funny dude, man. Like I've heard him say some hilarious shit on stage over the years. So
for sure.
And
of course, is
yeah, and the chop,
the Mullen chop.
Chop's one of the greatest things. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
cool. All right, my next one is a band from Arizona. I think they say Tucson, Arizona. Sex Prisoner. I don't know if you're familiar with these guys or not. They're a great power violence, grindcore, whatever you want to call these dudes. Tanner House Gate is the name of this album. This came out in what year was this?
2008.
No. I want to say this was 2016 or 2017, but this was on Deep Six. It came out on two labels actually, RSR and Deep Six. It was pressed 11 times. This is one of my Deep Six pressings.
Nice.
Little.
Is that like black with white
marble? Yeah,
marble.
Kind of greenish blue, white marble, and then this is another pressing I got from RSR. The screen printed cover, number 91 of 100.
Nice.
The back of it's kind of got like a different, like, it's like silver instead of like white, and even the cover is a little silver as well. But and then this other pressing I got from RSR is a test pressing. number 10 of 15.
Nice.
But yeah, this band is pretty cool. I've seen them at an A389 festival years ago. I remember grabbing a bunch of their stickers because I was just so impressed with how fucking awesome they sounded. They had a lot of stuff out. Our buddy Jade is a big fan of Sex Prisoner. Actually.
Yeah, I've heard Jay talk about it a lot.
I think they're supposed to put something out this year. I hope they do because they're a cool band. I know life happens. I think some of them have families now, so like obviously you can't hit the road and tour all the time. I know that COVID certainly was a big thing that stopped a lot of bands from doing what they wanted to do. But
right.
Sex Prisoner is a great band. Tanner Housegate, that's a great album, and I actually have a Weekend Nachos album that came out. It's just one song on a 5-inch square with that album, same artwork. It says Weekend Nachos song about tattoos, and it was put out by somebody. I was told not to say what the label was, but yeah, it was released to just Weekend Nachos and Sex Prisoner, and I guess friends and family. And I was fortunate to get one of those. I'll share that one someday. But yeah, they're a fucking pretty cool power violence band. If you're into that stuff, I know you are for sure.
Yeah, I want to say I've seen them, but I can't remember. I don't know if it was a
You're fortunate if you have, because they don't play much.
Yeah, I want to say that I've seen them, but I don't know if I've just listened to them a lot or just heard about them a lot. But yeah, from what I've heard, dude, they are a rad band. I'm not near the extent of fan.
That album in particular is a good one to start with, I would say. Tanner Housegate. If you're unsure of them, check that one out. It's kind of like the first time I heard Unforgivable by Weekend Nachos. I was just like, good Lord. Like,
nice.
Yeah. Bands with names that will throw you off, but are fucking amazing.
Hell yeah. If I haven't before, I will check them out now.
Hell yeah.
All right. My final contribution for the 2016 to 2020 is an album that was a very first experience for me. I have never gotten to watch an album being recorded. I have never gotten to sit in the studio for weeks to hang out with a band, to watch the process of guitar scratch tracks being played for the drummer to play the lay down the foundation of the song, and then the guitars come in and get recorded over, and then the bass, and then the vocals, and get the whole album being put together. I've never had this opportunity until I was asked by John Longstreth to hang out in the studio for weeks to watch the band record Unparalleled Universe. Origin, Unparalleled Universe was one of the greatest moments of my life, getting to witness one of my favorite bands over the last 20 years record an album. It was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. My very first time really getting to hang out with these guys, aside from like at a show and saying, hey, good set, man, and hanging out after the show or whatever. I mean, we had dinner together, we barbecued. A couple of the local guys from Kansas City, like Chris Wilson, came over and barbecued, and we hung out, and it was an incredible experience. This album will always have a special place in my heart just because of that. My very first studio experience with a band. Aside from that, the album is amazing. It really is. It's still got the technicalities that Origin is known for. The speed, precision, incredible musicians, absolutely incredible musicians. This album was this is their 7th full-length album.
Jesus Christ. I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know they had. How many is this? Are they up to 7 now, or is there another one after this?
No, Chaosmos is 8. Chaosmos is
I had no idea they had that many records. That's impressive.
Yeah. This was recorded at Chapman Studios in Lenexa, Kansas. Big shout out to Rob Rebeck. Rob Rebeck was the producer for the album. Rob and I have interacted several times since this album. Rob's a great guy. He really is. He takes very good care of me while I'm in the studio while he's working. He has introduced me to I forget the pizza chain. I forget the local pizza chain. I know I'm going to get shit from him for not Minsky's Pizza in Kansas City. Yeah, it just Rob is great. Rob has done a lot of work with the different bands over the years. He's done a lot of rap projects. He's done death metal. He has his own projects. Great guy. Yeah. I love this band. I love this album. Origin of Barrel.
I just got one question. Does it have blast beats?
It has a couple.
Okay, then it passed. Then it's Origin.
If you
the day Origin stops doing blast beats is the day Origin starts to suck. But
right, and just to show off.
Oh, that's awesome. Hold on. Why you got to break it in? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
that looks really cool.
I don't know which one this is called because I've got like every pressing, and I didn't even take notes of how many pressings there were. But yeah, every copy of this album I own. I wish I had a test press. Jason Kaiser or Paul Ryan, if you see this, if you have an extra test press, I will take it. But yeah, Origin, Unparalleled Universal. Love that album.
Fuck yeah. Origin's a killer band. Shout out to Paul Ryan. I love that dude. He's always been a bro.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So my last one here is a band. I don't want to say they're from Baltimore. One of the members is from Baltimore. The rest of them, I think, are from New York. But this is Miasmatic Necrosis. Apex Profane is the name of the record. We'll pull it out here because this is actually kind of cool. Oh, it's still a little glossy, but I don't know if you can see the insides of the record. When you open it up, there's like
it's like human anatomy.
Yeah. They printed some art inside there, so it's like there's eyeball. There's some blood and guts. It's like basically this shit. But let me see if I can.
Here comes the NC-17 rating.
Well. Yeah. This is boom. The wanted you pressed on blue and red splatter.
Nice.
This is I guess we can call them like a gore grind band. Evan, who does Maryland Death Fest, he sings for this band, and I don't know any of the other people. They played Death Fest years ago and under a different name, and I begged Evan to like let me know when something was coming out. So before this record came out, he told me about it, and I was able to order it before they blew up, and they really did, because when they tour, I mean, like their shows sell out, their merch sells out quickly. I know they've repressed this album. This album's been pressed 8 times now, and it came out in 2020, so 4 years it's been pressed 8 times. It's good stuff. I mean, like if you're into that gore grind stuff, which I am, I guess this is the cover. I don't know. Maybe that's the back side. This would be the cover. But
wow.
Yeah. Little carcassy theme there, but it's good stuff. I've been fortunate enough to see them live a few times now, and yeah, Evan's always been really nice to me over the years from Maryland Death Fest, and even when they come around, I kick it with them and talk a little bit. But
they played Death Fest one year. I've seen them. I think
they went by a different name. I can't remember what it was, but
also I've seen them.
I don't think they played the last Death Fest. I think that was the year that the other band played, but or before Death Fest took a break. They I think they played, but yeah,
I didn't realize.
No, they did play last year's Death Fest. They did. They played in 2022.
Did they?
Yes, they played that year. That's right.
I saw them. I
got a great photo. All the photographers were using flash. It was like all like smoke and red, and like all the photographers were using flash, and I just like did no flash, and I just got like Evan with all the red smoke. It looked great. It looked awesome.
Nice. I
thought they were great that year.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I've been pressed 8 times, dude. I don't even own one.
Get on it, man.
Jesus,
these are hard to find.
Get my head out of my ass.
Yeah.
Grab that.
But yeah, that does it for 2010 to 2020, 2000 to 2020. The last 20 years of our record collection. before we end this episode, I guess we want to talk about, Jeff, did you get anything new in the mail recently
Yeah, dude, I got
want to brag about?
I got a cool album I wanted to talk about. You know, it doesn't fit the time frame, but it's one that I'm really excited about. I haven't been a fan of this band from the beginning or anything, but I discovered them throughout the last, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, and I really just wanted to showcase this album because it is the first one that they've put out in 17 years. The last album they put out was Inglorious Times, and recently got the newest Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum album, and the new album is called The Last Human Being. The albums so far have been in like the titles have all been like in a sequence. The first one was called Grand Opening and Closing. The second one's called Of Natural History. Third is called Inglorious Times, and then The Last Human Being. And I really wanted to talk about this record for a minute because they did a Kickstarter to fund the recording of the album, and then if they made so much money, then they were going to release the album, and then if they made more supporters and if they had more funding and more support, they were going to go on tour, and they are going on tour. I'm getting to see them in a couple of weeks in Kansas City for the very first time, and then a couple of weeks later, I'm going to see them at the Big Ears Festival in Kentucky. But I am damn excited about this album. Like, they did 3 different pressings for this album, and I pre-ordered all 3 of them. Like, the one that's open is right now on my turntable. That copy, the one that's open, is in the back. That vinyl is on the turntable. But this is one of the sealed copies. This is the most rare pressing that they did. And you can't see it because of the light. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm damn excited about a new Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum album. I'm damn excited I get to see him on tour. And yeah, I didn't think I would get to hear new material from them since I became a fan, and now I can. I am so excited. The album's great. It really is. They took some time off. They went under a different band name for a while. They were Free Salamander Exhibit. They lost a member or 2 and did a completely different band, and then they came back as Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum, and I am excited for 2024. I finally get to see this band live, so had to talk about that.
That's rad, man.
Oh yeah,
kick ass. All right, well, I too recently got something in the mail. I talked about this band on a earlier episode. It's a band from Brooklyn, New York called Candiria. And in 1999, they put out this album called Process of Self-Development on MIA Records. It was only released on CD. And then in 2023, it got released on Rising Pulse Records, which is, I believe, the guitarist label of the guitarist of Candiria, his record label. Man, I'm so happy to have this album on vinyl. There was a period where I used to listen to this album every Friday because it was just like one of the coolest fucking albums I've ever heard. I mean, it's got everything: hardcore, metal, jazz, hip hop. It's just one of the. If you've ever heard of their drummer Ken Schalk, he's not in the band anymore, but he's the guy who played drums on this album. You got to look up like a drum video of him. He's insane, so fucking good. I think there's a video of them playing mathematics somewhere, and like his pedal breaks in the middle of the song, and he's got to fix it, and then they just like slide back in, just like so like professionally. Like one of the coolest bands I've ever seen live. But this album in particular is just I always said if there's ever an album that needs to be pressed on vinyl, it's this one. And a couple months ago they announced it, and I pre-ordered both pressings of it. I'm going to show you one of them right now. This is the green one.
Oh wow,
pretty sweet looking in that center label. I love how they did that. It kind of just like you see that or not, but yeah. This band is just incredible. There's a song on this album called Work in Progress with Jamie Josta from Hatebreed and a guy named Phil Vasquez. I don't know what band he's from, but there's plenty of guest artists on this album. I think Dave Whitty is on it, or he's an executive producer, I think, at one point on here. But yeah, just Candiria, just a fucking incredible band. One of the most underrated bands ever, really. I don't know how to describe it. A little progressive, a little hardcore, a little jazz, a little hip hop. a little of everything, but that album in particular, it's just one of those albums I always said, damn, I need this on fucking vinyl. And then one morning I woke up and I had it doubled. I saw it on my Instagram. I almost put my phone down and reopened it and just ordered it. Ordered 2 copies. I needed it so bad because it's one of those fucking records. But
yeah, I wasn't familiar with him and the way you were. I mean, and you have talked about him throughout the years. I've just never really, taken the initiative to listen to him. When you sent me the link whenever you were ecstatic about buying the record, and yeah, they're rad for sure. They definitely
hit friends over the years who really know or appreciate them. I know Kevin from the Acacia Strain drummer. He was one person that I always could talk about with this band because he understood like how great they were. My buddy Ray, he's another one who really was a big Candiria fan. Jimmy Rhodes, a huge fucking Candiria fan. So many people I know from around the way, but like, just they are so incredible. That album in particular, like I always tell you that one or Beyond Reasonable Doubt, even the one I talked about in previous episodes. I think it's 300% Density is the name of that one, but they're so fucking good. They really are.
Hell yeah. And that's right. Dude, the whole thing about, you always saying that should have been pressed on vinyl, and then it finally was. I mean, that's a great feeling.
It really is.
There's a couple that I was listening to. Actually, I was listening to last night. I was listening to the Byzantine album, and They Shall Take Up Serpents. And was like, fuck, I wish this was released on vinyl. I want that on vinyl so bad, but hopefully one of these days
hopefully somebody watches this episode and is like, you know what? Let's press that on vinyl.
Yeah. That Grindster guy, he's pretty smart. Put that on vinyl.
Well, that does it for episode 6, guys. I appreciate you all sticking around and watching this one with us. This is, like I said, the last 20 years of us collecting records, and this isn't the best of what we got, but this is some of the good ones that we put in there. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that didn't get pressed on vinyl that I wish I owned on vinyl, but or stuff that I missed out on that is just too expensive to buy now. But hopefully it'll get repressed someday. But we'll go back one day, you and I, and do a 2004 episode because that was a very important year in metal.
And it was a good year, yeah. The whole Lamb of God. The whole Lamb of God Mastodon tour being announced really brought that back to life. Like, damn, those were great albums. What else came out that year? And it was like we really missed the mark on several albums that we should have showcased for sure. Yeah, I want to say thank you to anybody that's still watching this because we've been going on for like an hour now. I mean, good God.
For sure.
Really been
going
on
before we hit end recording, shout out to J.R. Hayes once again. None of this would be possible without him and Mold Dominion. The people who run the Instagram page who've been reposting our videos for us, thank you. I appreciate everybody working. I'm sorry if I forgot people's names, but anybody who's been helping us and do everything for us, we appreciate it greatly.
Yes, we do. We appreciate all the support and all the helping to get the word out. And anybody that listens to me and Nick talk about records for a half hour or an hour, you're okay. I really
we haven't bored them yet.
We do appreciate it very much. Thank you to everybody, and we'll see you soon.
For sure. Thank you again for watching.